All right, hey, back with one more question here from another person in our inbox. And, they're talking about moving their sites over to our platform. And right now they're talking about how their website is always running slow, right? They do a test and it always comes back. Mobile's below 20, desktops in the 50s. So, as we all know, slow websites can kill your conversion rates, right? And user interaction, people, attention spans very short these days. They'll leave immediately if your website doesn't load like that, right? So, first thing you always want to check on your website is the images. We just had somebody that had about 150 sites, and we went through their list of sites, and 70% of the reasons that they had slow, or 70% of the sites had slow loading times due to this one simple thing with the images. The images, you want to make sure they're rendering the right size. You don't want to put in an image that is this large for a space that needs to be this size, right? Because then it has to compress it and has to optimize that image that's this size to get it down to this. You want to load up the image to be the correct size. That will drastically decrease your speed and increase your scores for Google page speeds when you do things like that. Heavy use of JavaScript is the next thing, or other types of scripts that you're putting on the site. If you have old code from, AdWords or Hotjar or other tracking mechanisms on your site that you just say, oh, we'll just leave it on there. Let's move to the next thing and add something else, right? We've all kind of done that at some point. We want to make sure we go in and clean those up and remove those, because every time you load a script like that, it does take load time from the site, right? And it the whoever loads the site, Google loading the site, Bing, whoever, has got to process all of those scripts. So make sure any heavy use of JavaScript, unfortunately, Go High Level has pretty high JavaScript form that you can put in the site that does slow down your site, unless we've written a custom script that allows it to be optimized very efficiently. But that took a lot of rewriting of the JavaScript to get it to work properly. Poor website optimization, such as using capture or minified code, can slow down the site. And lastly, you want to make sure you check your server as well, which can contribute to slow loading times, making sure that it's not overwhelmed. We use a containerized solution. You definitely don't want to be in a shared solution if you're looking for fast loading sites, because whoever is the noisiest neighbor on a shared website is going to cause performance issues on your site. So when you have containerized hosting or dedicated hosting, your sites have dedicated resources, and that's the most important thing. And with ours, you can scale up to 110 PHP workers. We have a scale up of RAM as well, that when your site needs it, it's on demand, it gives it, and then when it doesn't need it, it doesn't use it. And that's kind of how it works. That's our containerized solution. Other people have different solutions that they've built, but that's definitely recommend checking your server as well. So there's a few tips to always try to keep your website performing faster. Caching plugins, what I kind of always say, just mask the problem, right? We all want, to score green on green in the 90s on Google Page Insights. Well, there might need to be some development that needs to be redone so that you can score on those things. Because if you have a bunch of JavaScript, iframes, chat bots, all these old scripts on the site, that's going to slow down your site. So that will need to be cleaned up and addressed to get those scores if that's what you're facing, especially if when you first load up the site, it's like a 5 on mobile speed, right? That's pretty low, and try to get to 90 or 95. That's pretty difficult. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about moving and you're having issues with your slow loading website. So send in more questions. We'd love to answer them and address them.